All right, guys, we are back. It is Monday. We had a great weekend of not working on this thing or doing any work. Just had a good weekend, kind of refreshed ourselves, and now we're ready to get back on it. So we have actually set the cab down and we had squared everything out. What's really nice is these cab mounts right here where the bolts come down are actually going to line up almost directly with these bolt holes here. So I have a good solution of what I'm going to do there. The biggest thing that I have seen is that this little mounting plate, as you can see, is raised up about 1.5 to 2 inches off the original frame. And I want to set this cab mount almost directly on that, because if we end up putting something like this or my hockey pucks in there, they just don't, it just raises it up too high and the cab looks way high off the frame. So I want to get the cab down as low as we can on the frame. You don't want to look at the side of the truck and see underneath the rockers and see that square tube frame. So my thought process is, you know, a lot of the older vehicles, they had these little square, like felt mounts that you'd put in between the cab and there. So I'm going to do something similar. What I was thinking about using is like some silicone boost couplers from like some boost pipe. And I'll cut little squares, and we can use those for the front and mount those directly to the chassis and just have those little you know, square little silicone mounts just to kind of give it some dampening. And then in the rear, we'll use these, you know, body mounts and stuff like that with this cross member here across the back. We'll just, you know, mount it up to the bottom here, and then we'll build ourselves some little triangle gussets that go up to it to hold the rear of the cab in. So that's kind of going to be our mounting surface in there. So we'd already laid the cab down in and squared it out. And I have got my marks here on where I want to cut out the frame to notch over this. I was thinking about just cutting it all the way across, but I don't know, leaving some of this factory stuff might be okay as well. Oh, crazy Nova. So yeah, we're gonna cut these out over here and get this thing laid down where we need it to be, and then we'll start building our rear cab mounts. All right, guys, so I just want to take a quick second to say, if you guys like what you're seeing, if you like the builds, if you love the 240, if you're loving this build or this one right here, any of them, I would just love it if you guys would smash that subscribe button, comment down there which one of my builds is your favorite, anything like that. We'd love to hear from you guys and see what y'all think. We'd appreciate it. So we've got them all notched out. What I've done is I've actually taken the backside piece of metal and then just hammered it up and over. So this is kind of a trick that the, I'm gonna call them tuner boys, I'm a tuner boy, that we do when we cut out the wheel wells for like fender flares and stuff like that. Put a bigger tire on, you cut out the wheel well, and you use the inner part of the wheel well, roll it back up, and then you can weld it up on this seam right here and do a full weld across, and then you just chop off the excess, and that'll cap that off there. And then all we'll have to do is just make ourselves a little cap for this side and that side. And then I think with this side here, what we'll ultimately do is just pinch them together. Just pinch it and weld the seam down there, get rid of some of this rusty shit, and then just make a little pinch weld there. And this is why you always use safety glasses. I have got a piece of metal in my eye. I don't know if you guys can see that. Right about down there underneath the eyelid. So we're gonna dig that out real fast. There she is. Look at that little chunk of metal. Look, she's kind of even sharp. I felt it hit me in the eye when I was cutting. And it didn't bother me too bad. I'm glad that we did see it and get it out of there. So But anyway, like I said, always try to be safe, guys. I didn't have my safety glasses on when that happened, and hit me in the eye, and I was like, oh yeah, safety glasses. So it could have been worse. So we are all squared up on the frame now. We've got, what I'm measuring off is the bottom of the rocker right here, the straight edge to the frame. And on each side, we have got 2 5/8 inch in between this line right here and the frame. So we're squared up in the front. The back, I've gotten pretty much just dialed in. I haven't measured too much, but we're just kind of sitting in the center of both of those cuts that I originally squared up on there. So we're looking pretty dang decent. So I do know from the level, and this is about the only spot I can level is off the door. The level needs to, the back end needs to come up just a hair to match the frame. I do have wheel carts on the front, so I'm leveling off the frame and then doing the same off the door. So we do know the back of the cab needs to come up just a little bit. But before I do that, I think what I want to do is kind of push this thing back and rearrange and get this front clip somewhat sitting on here. All the old ones that we've done in the past, we end up having to trim some of this frame horn right here on each side. I think my panel truck, I ended up trimming all the way to right here. I'm not going to trim anything yet though. I want to put the fenders on, or kind of just get everything mocked up to see where I need to start trimming out, do it a couple cuts, whatever we need to do. So we measured from our firewall forward. I measured off the fender wells off the, or not, whatever you want, the fender mounting spot up here forward, and we needed 39 inches to have the radiator cross support meet up right here. So we measured out, made sure everything was square, made our marks, and now we're going to chop off these front frame horns. We didn't show it in the original when we were pulling the Crown Vic apart, but the Crown Vic actually had been hit up front here. So the radiator's all twisted up, and the overflow is kind of messed up, things like that. The owner is getting some new radiator and stuff like that. But it was weird, I was doing all my measurements, and just from here to my mark to here from the hit, had lost almost a full inch from the brackets and all that stuff. So that was kind of interesting to see. Not that it matters, but just was interesting to see that. I had to double check all my measurements to make sure we were good to go before I started cutting with the inch off difference. But everything looks good. We're just gonna sit in this bad boy and start the cutting. Okie dokie, we have got the front end pretty much all bolted up. Everything's kind of riding good. I still need to pull these up a little bit, cure that gap, but everything was looking good. Right now the gap's a little tiny tight down there, but once we lift the front end up, we'll be good to go. I used my level and was using my drip rails instead of the door top here because it does look like it slants a little bit. So we've got the seams, the drip rails level with the frame, everything there. We've got that mount back on. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this metal and cut myself a couple pieces of strap, and we're gonna make our mounts that go from here down to the frame. So we'll just cut out a couple strap pieces there. Then I'm gonna just kind of tack them in for now because I wanna go back and clean all this stuff up. We'll take the all the extra metal off. This little piece that was for the carrier bearing on the old one, it's too dang close to the drive shaft, so we'll remove that and things like that. But at least for now, we can kind of get the back of the cab mounted and solid, you know, tacked up and whatnot, so it doesn't move too much. So yep, simple as that. I think that's gonna be it for today's episode. We have got a lot done. We've got the cab resting under its own weight, front clip on, everything is good to go. So I did run out of gas for the welder, so we need to go pick up some materials and supplies. I need gas for the welder, welding wire 030 is what we use for our welder. Some cutoff wheels, flappy discs, kind of just get everything so we can start our metal fabrication process of this build. So tomorrow, after I'm done with our regular work, I will run down there, pick all that stuff up, and we'll be able to come under here and finish up all our stuff. So I want to weld up here, and then I'm going to build a little gussets on both sides down here just to help hold that whole brace in and make it look better. That is just for now to kind of hold her in place. And yep, I'm happy with it. So we've got that locked in. We've got front clip all locked in. And I am just excited with how everything is working out. The whole fender wells are fitting well. We're gonna be able to use the old fender wells to put all the wiring on. And once we're all said and done, kind of get this thing uncluttered and the new radiator in where it's supposed to be, I think it's gonna turn out really, really nice. So like I said, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have done one of these before, you know, little tips and tricks of things you guys have done. This is just a lot of fun. I've done a few of these and I just can't get enough of them. I'm already planning my next one, honestly. But like I said, I'm really happy with where the wheel well landed in the wheel there. It's gonna give us a lot of room in the backside to hopefully get that wheel gap right. And yeah, everything is just good to go. So like I said, the next episode will be us finishing up all our fabrication from the cab forward, getting that all done, and then we'll move on to wiring, getting the fuel tank mounted, and getting this thing started again. So smash that subscribe button, smash that like button, and we will see you guys later.